one of the hardest parts is that you've gone from this just like sweet, you're expecting a baby, to now everybody's so sorry for you.
It was a hellacious, 6 months after finding out, and going through some agonizing times of just wondering what lay ahead.
Didn't invite Adam to this ultrasound because I didn't realize what was about to happen. I had this feeling she's going to tell me that this baby's life is not worth living. And so I stopped her and I said, I just want you to know, I don't know what you're gonna tell me today, but we love our baby.
I can remember being on my knees and sobbing, just wondering why. And it was cold too. It felt really cold to be face to face with the genetics counselor and to be having those conversations. Everything was very factual, very kind of scientific.
And it was the same genetics counselor. She called us up and said, I wanted to congratulate you. You're having another little boy. And he indeed has full trisomy 13. 2/3 your baby's going to die before birth is what they told us. And then 1/3 of a chance of maybe he'll breathe for an hour, maybe.
You're pretty quickly presented, even with, our OB, that termination's an option.
This is probably the day. It's about 36 weeks plus 4 days. And so many of the babies that have trisomy 13, 36 weeks is a big week for them to be born. I feel like it's time to push. They got me into a room immediately, and about 50 minutes later, after about 2 pushes, Simon was born. Adam looked at him, and they held him up, and they had him look at me, and he had 2 eyeballs, and he was really blue, but he was beautiful. Kind of being afraid of what it might be like to either hold a baby that was no longer alive or one that was going to die soon. They just melted away. It was just beautiful and peaceful, and just time really, really stood still. About 8:30 in the morning, a whole bunch of friends from church and our neighborhood and our family, and they started showing up and started meeting Simon. And Simon got to meet his big brother Teddy, and it was such a gift.
You're fine.
Never experienced such joy in my life than when he breathed and then when he got to go home with me. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. Simon was not in pain. He was really, really comfortable. He was like a typical baby. He cried when he was hungry. He cried when he hated diaper changes, and he didn't like you touching his feet. We thought about 5 different times during his life that was the end. He would go really dusky blue, and we'd give him some oxygen, and then he'd pink back up, and then he'd be around for another day, and we'd do it all over again. And we got 1 beautiful week with him, 7 days and 22 minutes, and it was the most beautiful week of my life. I could tell it was toward the end of his life. We had few hours before that 1-week birthday mark, we had given him just a little bit of morphine to keep his body really comfortable. Just the Spirit really wept through our living room and, groaned with us when we realized that he'd taken his last breath. And, I was looking at him, telling him to, go ahead and go. And Adam was coaching him and just saying, if you see Jesus, Simon, reach out and grab him. And that was the end. And it was so hard.
What culture and society would tell you today is that, pain avoidance and suffering avoidance is far better. And what I know to be true, because I've been through it, some of the hardest things in my life, happened the months leading up to that, and then the week of Simon's life, and shortly thereafter. I know there is a lot of joy in the suffering. And there's joy that even can be found in grief.
I realize that I see why they say that this is, in the suffering, don't do this. Why go through all of this? But it was also in that moment that we realized we got to do everything and more with Simon.